If you want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. All right, so you can see by the title and the image that is directly moving what the video is directly going to be about. So this is something that I felt that the greater majority of Black women should have already known or knew pretty much about. And I'm just going to go over the information because, as I stated before, I'm not even trying to argue with people. People want to argue, you can argue directly in the comment section, yada, yada, yada. But the one thing we're not going to do is argue about the facts, right? So this was written Monday, October 17th of 2022. Straightening chemicals associated with higher uterine cancer risk. Women who use chemical hair straightening products are at higher risk for uterine cancer compared to women who did not report using these products, and that is according to a new study from the National Institute of Health. The researchers found no association with uterine cancer for other hair products that the women reported using, including hair dyes, bleach, highlights, and perms. Study data includes 33,497 United States women ages 35 through 74 participating in the sister study, a study led by the National Institute of Environmental Health Scientists, or the NIEHS, part of the NIH, that seeks to identify risk factors for breast cancer and other health conditions. The women were followed for almost 11 years during the time. 378 uterine cancer cases were diagnosed. The research found that women who reported frequent use of hair straightening products, defined as more than 4 times in the previous year, were more than twice as likely to go on to develop uterine cancer compared to those who did not use the products. We estimate that 1.64% of women who never used hair straighteners will go on to develop uterine cancer by the age of 70. But for frequent users, that risk goes up to 4.05%. And that was stated by Alexandria White, who is a PhD, the head of the NIEHS Environment and Cancer Etymology Group and lead author on the new study. Quote, this doubling rate is concerning. However, it is important to put this information into context. Uterine cancer is a relatively rare type of cancer. Uterine cancer accounts for about 3% of all new cancer cases, but is the most common cancer of the female reproductive system, with 65,950 estimated new cases in 2022 alone. Studies show that incident rates of uterine cancer have been rising in the United States, particularly amongst Black women. Approximately 60% of the participants who reported using straighteners in the previous years were self identified Black women, according to the study published in the Journal of National Cancer Institutes. Although the study did not find that the relationship between straighteners used and uterine cancer incidences was different by race. The adverse health effects may be greater for Black women due to higher prevalence of the use. Because Black women use hair straighteners or relaxing products more frequently and tend to initiate use at earlier ages than other races and ethnicities, these findings may be even more relevant for them. And that was stated by Shay Jung Chang, another PhD and author on the new study and a research fellow in the NIEHS etymology branch. The findings are consistent with the prior studies showing straighteners can increase the risk of hormone related cancers in women. Researchers did not collect information on brands or ingredients in the products the women used. However, in the paper, they noted that several chemicals that have been found in straighteners, such as parabens, bisphenol A, metals, and formaldehyde, could be contributing to the increased uterine cancer risk observed. Chemical exposure from hair product use, especially straighteners, could be more concerning than other personal care products due to the increased absorption through the scalp, which may be exacerbated by burns and lesions caused by straighteners. Quote, to our knowledge, this is the first epidemiologic study that examined the relationship between straightener use and uterine cancer. More research is needed to confirm these findings in different populations and to determine if hair products contribute to health disparities in uterine cancer and to identify the specific chemicals that may be increasing the risk of cancer in women. The team previously found that permanent hair dye and straighteners may increase breast and ovarian cancer risks. So I wanted to give a little bit more information just so people can understand, right? And this is about another chemical that is in hair straighteners. Formaldehyde, a known carcinogen, is also in most straightening solutions. A 2021 study on hair straightening treatments found formaldehyde levels that were deemed high enough to pose a health hazard for consumers. Applying formaldehyde to your hair and inhaling its fumes causes exposure strong enough for the known side effects below, including respiratory difficulties, irritation to your nose and eyes, skin redness and irritation, and last but not least, increased risk of breast cancer. So, the reason why I am doing this video is due to the fact that this is a culture that I have always seen amongst, and only specifically Black women, where it is okay to, in a sense, do certain things right at an early stage, such as with the video that you are able to see in front of you, which is taking a young little girl directly, to a hair salon, and in single digit ages, you're, taking her to get, her hair permed, or whatever it is. And the main thing that I try to make people understand is that we have a culture out here where it is, in a sense, acceptable to change who you are, right? Naturally, in order for you to gain certain benefits, right? Which means that you're telling this little girl that, all right, um, in order for you to be deemed beautiful, you have to have straight hair. In order for you to be deemed acceptable, you have to have straight hair. In order for you to be loved, you have to have straight hair. In order for a man to find you attractive, you have to have straight hair. In order for the world at large to be comfortable with your image, you have to have straight hair so that it is more palatable for a lot of other people to, in a sense, be around you or to be accepting of you around them. And I've been against this message for the longest time possible. Even before I had a platform, I would talk to young Black women who are around my age during the time, and I would tell them, like, yo, you should not do that. You shouldn't go out there and put those harsh chemicals directly in that girl's hair. Like, a lot of the stuff that women use in their hair, it can eat through plastic. If it can eat through plastic, if it can eat through, containers, if it has to be housed in any type of metal or whatever it is, that means that realistically it should not be on your skin. And if it's actually able to do that to, something that was put together or formed, by way of other chemicals, and is, in a sense, deteriorating and is eating through that, what do you think that is going to do when it's left on your skin? It might not directly affect it the exact same way, but it's going to do other things that it wouldn't be able to do to, let's say, a metal or to plastics, right? Plastics can't get cancer. They can't get breast cancer and ovarian cancer, but you can. And the main thing that I've also stated before in a whole different video that I've done is the high cancer rates, and specifically amongst Black women. And a lot of those have led directly back to the usage of lye, the usage of relaxers and or straighteners, the usage of hair dyes and many other products that Black women put on their skin more than a lot of other demographics of women. So, like I said before, you guys are out here, in a sense, not only teaching a negative type of way of thinking, or reinforcing that type of way of thinking, but you're also enabling a ecosystem in which cancer can prevail, which otherwise would not naturally even be here. So this is why, again, you have a lot of black women who, if you go through their families, you have people that are going through ovarian cancer, you have women that are going through breast cancer, you have you also got uterine growths and signs and symptoms. That's directly up there for anybody that wants to read it. And the main thing that I want y'all to know is that a lot of this is due to the fact, again, of the stuff that you use put on your body that is directly feeding through the skin. The skin is the largest organ that we have. It covers the whole complete body. It absorbs in everything. So that means, that the moment in time that, you put good stuff on your skin, like let's say you got some healthy, nurturing type of stuff, stuff that got like vitamin E, vitamin D, A, B, C, like all of those great things. You put that directly on your skin. What is it going to do? That's going to absorb directly through the skin. That's going to go to the rest of the body. So that means if you sit up there and put harmful chemicals directly on the skin, what is the body naturally going to do? It's going to do what it always does. It's going to absorb it through the skin, and it's going to, push it directly through. And whatever happens is whatever happens, right? So all I'm saying is this. It's impossible for, at this day and age, for any black woman out here to be ignorant of this type of information. And I'm going to take it to a further extent, which a lot of people are going to disagree with, but I'm going to say it anyway. And it is ridiculous in this day and age for a black woman to have a daughter and to be this lazy and not wanting to do her hair. That's 1000% ridiculous. You would rather put your child at the start of harm's way, of her having issues, health issues early on, developing this, because it's going to build up. It's almost like a ticking time bomb, right? When you put these chemicals onto children, you're not going to know what's happening with their body because it's developing. Like the body has a great way of, in a sense, trying to push these things out, but it'll get to a certain point where the body was like, hey, I can't really get rid of this anymore. I have to do it in a different way. So it's going to start to build these chemicals up, which is going to start to form these growths, which is going to potentially start to formulate cancers or growths or masses. And then over time, it's going to, turn into what it ends up turning into. Like I said, stop putting your daughters directly in harm's way. We talk about all the time how the black community is a target, right? How everybody's doing everything to try to do stuff to the black community. What do you think that these companies are specifically trying to do, and how do you think that it is that they're trying to target black women? The easiest way that they know how: hair, makeup, other types of chemicals that you may like to use, let's say like bath bombs. There's a multitude of ways that they can just slide in certain things that don't need to be there, because it's not like you're going to do research. It's not like you're going to look up the chemical compounds and what specifically these chemicals are and if they're carcinogens or not. They know, like I said, they know that people aren't going to look up any of the stuff that's in these products. As long as it states that it's FDA approved or it seems usable or it seems safe, people are just going to go for it. If they know that other people use it, they're going to deem it as safe as well, and they're just going to use it. But like I said, all of these groups, nobody knows what is specifically in any of these chemicals. And the most terrible part is that this type of knowledge is being handed over to little girls so that this knowledge can then be handed over to the same girls of that generation. So then when those girls grow up, they're going to repeat the exact same mistakes as their mothers that put them in those salon chairs and allowed them to get their hair relaxed with all of those harsh cancer causing and tumor causing chemicals.